installing aftermarket seats in your second gen Camaro with factory sliders, and kind of showing you how I wanted to do aftermarket, but it didn't work out for me. Let's get to it. What's going on, guys? Matt over here, Lethal Garage, and we are back. We have the 71 project car in full swing, getting all sorts of things done to it. You can actually already see I have the driver's side seat kind of sitting in there already. It's not mounted or anything, but we were messing around with positioning and how it was going to look and where it would line up and all that greatness. And it doesn't look all that bad. But today we're going to show you the seats we're going with aftermarket wise for the car. I'll unbag those, show them off. We're going to show how I'm mounting the actual factory sliders. I was planning to go with aftermarket, but they're just not going to work because of the floorboards. I should have done better due diligence when we were building the car or doing all the body work, because I would have noticed that there's no way the brackets I bought were going to work, but we'll get into that. So let's check it all out and get right to it. So first and foremost, let's talk about seating brackets and how we were planning to set it up. So in the 71, I was going to try to get, I'm a tall guy, I'm 6'5", so I needed as much headspace as I possibly could get. So I went online and I looked up all sorts of different brackets. I don't even remember the company I bought these from. There was a name, I don't even know, but they're 1 inch high. They had a slider. They allowed some adjustability, obviously not up and down of the seat per se, but it was going to get it as low as I can get. The problem is, let's see if I can move this back real quick. The problem was this big hump right here on my floorboard. If I was smart, I would have fit everything ahead of time, and I would have realized this hump was clearly in the way and I wasn't going to be able to slide the seat, because the problem is the hump came in or out right here and it was going to catch the seat and I wasn't going to be able to move forward and backwards. Not going to work. Also, I figured I could just re-drill the holes in the main bracket to line up with the factory placements, and this was not nearly long enough to line up with the factory holes. So if you see, if I line this up with the front, so I have a factory bracket underneath this one, sorry. So if I line this up with the front hole, you'll see I'm really short, like a lot short. Sure, I could have welded on a bracket or something like that, but I just didn't feel like it was going to be all that safe. And probably something I'm doing later in this video, you're going to be like, well, that's not safe either. And I'll agree with you now, it's not, but we'll get to that here in a moment. So these are the actual rails. So if you look at the seats, and actually, look, I'm going to take this off the workbench and move the factory rails so I can put the seat up here and show you what we're working with. So as you can see, I have the seat up here now, but I wanted to show you how the brackets are. So coming off of the seat, it's not a flat mount. I kind of wish these were flat because it would open the door to a lot of mounting options, and you wouldn't have to get the side mounts to then mount on something else to make the seat sit higher. But in this instance, they have your... Hi, Zach.
Hi.
But in this instance, they give you these brackets. These brackets mount right up to their seats, and then you can adapt these to mount to whatever brackets you're going to be using. So since I'm using the factory brackets, and I'll use the smaller one here because it's a little bit easier to handle. Yep. So this bracket would basically sit here, and I had to measure the width. So the holes in the floor are 13.5 inches, or at least it was 13.5 inches on the driver's side. I'm gonna have to go measure the passenger side to make sure that's exactly the distance. But I'm assuming it's going to be the same. So it was 13.5 inches center to center. So I had to get these set up in a way to where they're 13.5 inches center to center. So the seat can go right on there, mount up and line up. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to walk you through the steps on what I did to make it mount. I have some aluminum spacers that I'm using. I'm going to end up cutting these down to be the right spacing, but I'll probably end up going to a seat guy and have him make custom brackets for the car at some point. But this is more to just get the seats in there bolted to the ground and verify the height, because I still think these are going to be a little too tall. These factory brackets sit really high compared to some of the other options out there, but I just don't have a lot of time. I need to free up some room, and I want to get the seats mounted to get an idea of how everything looks, especially with the new seats. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount these brackets up, and then I'll show you what the actual seats look like sitting in the car without plastic wrap all over them. Okay, so my proof of concept put into practice. I have the rail attached, well, I have the bracket that attaches the seat attached to the rails. These are factory rails, or factory reproductions, I should say. And I'm just using a heavy duty bolt, a nut, and a lock washer. And on the bottom side, I'm using a round top bolt head, so that way when the top rail slides, it can go over the wheels. Can't really see it on this side, but inside there, you can kind of see there's a little circular wheel that glides and allows the top to move forward and back. And if the wheel hits the bolt, I wanted to make sure it rolled over it, but I don't think it actually goes that far. We'll see when it's in the car. But just like most adjustable seats, your lever sticks out the front of the seat. You push it over, it disengages that little clip. So let me see if we can go in there. If you look in there, you can see the little teeth that it sits in. There's multiple settings on this thing, so it locks it in and you can adjust the seat forward and back. So now, as far as attaching the brackets to the seat, again, it's a little less than 13.5 inches center to center where I need the brackets. I found if I used two of, I believe these are just a little over an 1/8 inch on both sides with a couple washers, it gives me the distance that I need. These are custom aluminum spacers that I'm using. Again, I'm not going to use these final, but I'm using this to mock up everything. So when I do go down to my seat guy, or a seat guy I should say, I can be like, hey, this is where they need to be, mock up what you need to mock up, and let's get it as low as we can get it. So I'm going to show you how I mounted these, but you can kind of see how I'm spacing that out. So if you see the spacer there and everything, that spacing with these washers and everything gave me the direct 13.5. So if anything, I'll get this tightened up, and I mean, it will hold the weight and everything. It shouldn't be an issue, especially because this bracket's it's basically sitting on this bracket here on top of it, so the weight will be there. It's more the torsional weight. Like if the car was in a car accident, I don't think I would trust this setup, hence why I'll swap it out for a more, probably a welded bracket and get it all situated. But that's how I'm solving it for now, so I can get it on the car, get it going, and figure that out. So let's get all four corners on. We'll just double, triple check the measurements and get this bad boy in the car, show you these seats. Okay, so I'm on the passenger side of the car. Just wanted to show you kind of how the brackets are lining up. Now, obviously this one's not bolted in place. I did bolt the driver's side in. I'll show you that here in a second. But you can see how the factory bracket sits. It'll, you know, once it's flush mount and everything, but the distance from the floor to the mount that comes with the Status Racing seat is about 3.5 inches high with this bracket and everything. I think we can shave 1 inch out of it if we redo it. So I'm planning to do that at some point, but we'll have to get there. It'd be nice to get another inch of headroom for me, being 6'5". That being stated, as I just mentioned, Status Racing is the company I went with for my seats. So I did a full custom setup. These are the Enduro design, and you can kind of, it's funny because before I chose the color of the car, I thought I was originally going to go white. Obviously we didn't go white, but I had the gray implant because I don't know, something in me was saying gray, and I think it matches really nice. So this is an Alcantara suede. So the outside is, I believe, shadow black is what they call it, and the inside's the gray Alcantara. The back is their black vinyl, same with the sides and the front. It does have the Status Racing logo in the front. Represent Status Racing, huge shout out to them. And it is set up, so if you do want to run a center harness, some people might not like this look if they're not going to run that kind of seatbelt setup. I'm probably going to do a I guess it would be a 3-point setup without, well, I might add the shoulder, just safety, comes in handy. But the goal with this seat, and a lot of people will ask, why did you go with such a low seat? I really like the idea of being able to see through the car. And every second gen, not every, but most of the second gens I've seen, they have these huge seats that like come up to here and you can't see anything behind you. When you're standing in front of the car, you can't see out the back of the car, and it seems like a really small gripe, but I just like the way it looks when you look through the car and you can see right through it. And so that was the idea here. The other side was this, I'm a big guy, I got a huge broad back. I wanted a seat that's gonna cut me and make me feel comfortable. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go sit on the driver's side real quick and show you That one's, well, it's mounted, but I'll talk a little bit more about the seats. So this side I do have mounted, and again, with the Enduro seat, it is a reclining seat, so I wanted that option. I wanted to be able to recline, and I wanted the adjustment side to side. If I could fit electronics in here and make it go up and down, that'd be even better. Because as you know, I'm 6'5", my wife's 4'11", so having a seat that's gonna cater to us both, it's gonna be really hard to do. But, and apologies, the car's up on a lift, so it's gonna be hard to get in. So basically I'll fall into the car, but this is the seat all the way back. You can see probably the pedals will be about right here. There's plenty of space for my legs, steering wheel here, and it's adjustable. This is the full tilt wheel, and it's gonna be hard to do one-handed, but this will go up and down and all that greatness. But I think it's really gonna start taking shape once I get the dash in here, and I'm working on that right now. But the seat itself, where's my little recliner? So whoa, it goes it goes all the way back. I mean, it is like deep recline, but I fit nicely, and I'm big. I'm over 280 pounds. The seat hugs me. I feel comfortable in it. You know, I'll probably drive like this, so I can't really position the camera, and apologies, it's so really hot outside, California summers. But I fit, and I have headroom. Got to figure there's still going to be a headliner and other stuff, so it's going to be really close for me, and hence why I was talking about getting that extra inch. You know, dropping even that much is going to give me more headspace. So that's the plan, and we'll try to gain as much headspace as we can. But also I have to be really aware that my wife's going to be driving this car too, and I need to cater it so it works. So if you look at the handle, again, this is the factory style slide, so it's not all that intuitive, but you can get real close. And now my knees are all up in there. I think my wife will fit in here fine. We'll have to have her come out and verify, but the seat goes back really easy. It just doesn't go forward as easy. But I'm not planning to put a center console here, so I wanted that open look. So this will be obviously upholstered and look nice. We'll have the shifter here, and then I'm probably going to do a custom console kind of setup here, because these seats have a heated seat functionality, and I did not do that for me because I hate being hot. But my wife, if she's going to come to car shows in the morning and stuff like that, she's always cold. So I got heating elements built into that. I'm going to put switches on a custom console that we'll build here at some point. And so she can flip on her heated seats and her little tushy can be nice and warm. See, I care. I care about you, babe, if you're watching this. God, I'm sweating like a crazy man. But yeah, I think it turned out really well, and I really like these seats from Status. They look really good. They fit me fine, and it was actually really nice because my wife was able to sit in the seats before we bought them. They obviously weren't this color, but I really like the Alcantara, and the plan is to have the back seats match. So we're going to use the same fabric and everything and do the buckets on the bottom. We'll do the back seating, which is actually over there. So we're going to trim that down so it fits with the mini tubs and get that to match. And then I need to find someone that can help me with my side door panels, because we'll make that match as well. So we'll use that fabric and come up with either some sort of design or wrap the GM panel boards and make that work as well. But overall, the factory mounts work pretty good on these seats. Again, I'm probably gonna revisit and adjust how they're actually mounted to the bracketry and all that stuff, and then take it to a professional guy who can make a bracket and get this seat as low as we can possibly get it. I think with an inch more headroom, it will be perfect. These seats are just wide enough. You can see where the lever is to adjust, just clears here. And if you see on this side, we have just enough room on this side to clear, and this is mostly just fabric and stuff, so there's a lot of space there, but there'll be room for a seat belt and all that greatness, and not worry. And here's the wiring for the heated seat. There's another wire with a button. It's a really fancy light up button, so the goal is to put a button on this side and a button on that side, so you'll know when it's on and it'll look good. But there you have it, Status racing seats. I'll put a link down below on these seats. Again, These are the Enduros, full recline, have the heated seat option. You can even get pockets in the back. They have a lot of different options. I opted not to put pockets in the back. Just wanted a nice clean look. But the nice thing is they're here in Temecula, so if I ever wanted a different covering or change up the seat or do anything to it, I could probably bring them down there and have them swapped out or upgraded or changed. But there you have it. That is the Status Racing seats on the factory sliders with their mounting bracket. So their bracket actually came with this seat to mount it to an aftermarket setup. Again, I did buy these ones. They obviously didn't work for the reasons I outlined earlier. It was unfortunate. I was really hoping I can get like a modern day slide. This slide is just way better than the factory ones. There may be even a chance I can salvage this by just unbolting these slides and everything and maybe making my own custom bracket that it bolts to. That could be something I do, and I think this will be lower profile, but again, that hump right here is gonna be a pain. So that's where I'm at. That's what's going on. Obviously the seats aren't staying mounted in, but it's nice to have them out of the way. It's nice to have the Dynamat in the car and just kind of get an idea where everything's going to start going. And the other thing is there's plenty of room for the door to close, so that will be good. And yeah, feeling really good about all this. 71's got seats. Huge shout out to Status Racing. Again, details down below. They make tons of seats, so if you like that style seat with a headrest, they make it. Again, I opted for without the headrest so you can see right through the car. I think with the inch lower, it's going to be even more perfect because the seat will be almost lined up with the dash. And so that way you can just really see right through the car. That was really the goal, and I think we're going to be able to achieve it. So really happy with that. But let me know what you guys think. What seats are you running? What sliders have you been using? I know there's a ton of people that have tried tons of different things over the years. If you guys are big like me, what have you done to try to get your seats to fit, or what aftermarket mounts and all that stuff did you use? But either or, let me know in the comments. Thanks for checking it out. Make sure to subscribe for more content, and until next time, see you guys on the road.